in France, judo is so much more popular than wrestling. French obviously prefer judo so much more, so they were saying like, oh, the French gave so much more preferential treatment to the judo staff. Of course, I love the individual stars. I love the culture. I love the sports side, the respectable side. I like everything about it. I really do, right?
Yeah.
But they have sort of this like isolationist, we're the elites of the judo kind of a thing, and the world is really challenging that. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shintaro Higashi Show with Peter Yu. We have a very special episode today about the championships that's happening in the summer. Scared to say, the O word because, it's such a thing. It's like a big thing, right?
We just want to be careful. Everyone knows what we're going to be talking about, right?
Yeah. The games.
It was very
the games.
Yeah, the games, man. The five circles.
Yeah, every 4 years it happens.
Yeah.
Influencers are getting sued now for like saying like, oh yeah, this is an Olympic this or that, or Olympic level this, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then people are getting dinged like left and right. So I'm like, all right, let's not say so much. Let's be cautious.
Yeah. But overall, I thought it was like a very exciting tournament.
Very exciting.
A lot of things happened.
Yeah.
Like so much drama and all that, and then that's what it's about.
Yep.
Like we enjoy it. We wait every for 4 years.
Yep.
We wait around and see what happens. So, we can kind of go down. I couldn't watch everything. We got stuff to do.
I'll tell you, watching it is difficult because you have to get like a Peacock account or an NBC streaming account.
Yeah.
It wasn't on Judo TV.
That's right.
I wish they did have it on Judo TV.
Me too. And then like Peacock is not judo focused, so you can't really watch match by match like judotv.com.
Yeah,
and
Judo TV is spectacular to watch judo.
Yeah,
it's the best interface I've ever experienced. Judotv.com, discount code Shintaro. I wasn't saying that just to plug that. But seriously, when you're used to that standard, watching judo on anything else or grappling on anything else, it becomes very difficult. I think.
And I have a Peacock account, so I was able to catch most of it.
Yeah.
And even then, it's just like trying to do the replay, Peacock you can do better.
All right,
but
what was your favorite
Judo
moment?
TV is where it's at.
Favorite moment.
So, my favorite moment, honestly, man, the Teddy Riner versus. What's his name? The Korean guy. Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm blanking. It'll come back.
Like Min Sung Kim or something like that.
Teddy Riner versus
Kim Jong Un.
I want to see him go against Kim Jong. Kim Min Jong.
Kim Min Jong. I was close.
Kim Min Jong.
I knew there was a Kim and a Mung in there.
Oh yeah, Kim Min Jong. Yeah, you're right. That I think was my favorite match. Out of the whole game.
Why?
It was, it's kind of. So I thought Kim In-jung was gonna give Teddy some trouble.
I thought so too. He's a dropper.
Yeah, he's a dropper. There's a height difference that you can really take advantage of. But then, for Teddy to throw him emphatically like that, he is the GOAT.
It really is. It really is. I mean, he's one of the best of all time. Not trying to hate or anything, but I kind of thought this was the time that he was going to get upset. People are used to him. He hasn't been competing as much. I figured maybe some of these guys have figured it out, but there's not too many 6'9" bodies to train with to emulate that, right?
I mean, that's what people were saying, right? Like, he's just so genetically gifted and all that. Like, some people are trying to, tear down some of Teddy's achievements, but I think that's not. I don't think that's a fair take.
No.
You still have to be good at judo.
No, you still have to do judo and be good. I mean, he's been doing judo since he's a little kid.
Yeah, and then
did you want the Korean
apparently,
to win?
I mean, I wanted to see some upsets here. I mean, definitely Kim In-jung. I mean, he was seeded first, but still he was the underdog.
Yeah.
And the home ground advantage and how about the atmosphere at the
game
stadium?
Oh, it was unbelievable. They sold out.
Unbelievable.
And I have some insider info from some of the guys who helped set up the Olympics and things like that, commentators and such. And in France, judo is so much more popular than wrestling. So I heard there were some commentators or people who were organizers who worked on both sides of the wrestling and judo.
Yeah.
And the French obviously prefer judo so much more. So they were saying like, oh, the French gave so much more preferential treatment to the judo staff, and then the wrestling guys were like, wrestling, get out of here. Which I thought it was kind of funny.
Hey, that's fun.
You know, Macron was there too.
Yeah, he was hugging all the athletes. Apparently, he's a big sports guy.
Yeah.
So And anyway, so going back to Teddy and Kim, and and the way he threw. I mean, I heard that Teddy is trying to go to LA.
Wow.
For the next one.
Really?
And he's gonna be old. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know.
But we'll see what happens.
Like Majane, the Cuban Greco-Roman guy that won 5 Olympics.
Yeah, I know.
He was 42.
That is. And the way he retired, right? Like he fucking wins the gold medal and then like takes off his shoes.
I love that. I always say, man, when the wrestlers retire, they take their shoes off. Judo guys should just take their pants off on the mat. I always say, I just want one guy to do it, and then it'll be hilarious. It's such a normal thing in wrestling. Like, you know, you win, you walk off the mat, and then you walk back onto the mat, and everyone kind of knows what's happening. Everyone starts going crazy. You like bend down and start untying your shoes. And then it's like,
I teared up, man.
Leaving your shoes on the mat. It's like a thing. Let's do that for judo.
Maybe you can
take your pants off on the mat. No, it's gotta be
the pants. The pants.
Yeah. They're transitioning to sambo. That's what they're doing.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of retired judo guys from the European region do a couple of extra years of sambo after they're done.
Oh, like your friend from Italy. Too, right? Like So, what was your favorite moment?
You know, I loved the team match. And
the team match.
Japan, France, you know.
I know. It's like they're dogging it out, right?
Yeah, Japan's like up, and then France comes back and then beats Abe, and Abegdanu beats Takeichi, and then all of a sudden it goes, right? Because it's a 6-person team. If it's 3 and 3, it goes to the roulette that's random. Yeah. But it didn't seem very random to me.
Because Tsunoda was selected, right?
No, it was Riner.
At the end, no. Oh, Riner.
It was 90 plus.
Riner.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And I think that was my.
Right.
That was my favorite moment. It's like 90 plus, and I was like, that was just the moment that happened. I knew it was gonna happen. I was just sitting there watching. I was like, all right, someone, you know, man, that would be incredible if 90 plus gets selected, and then Teddy Riner will be a mega star. Or Saito comes out and then wins it for Team Japan, and that would have been either way, man. It was the most spectacular setup for like the most glorious, like
tiebreaker.
Because it was gonna be the last match of the games for all of judo.
I really wanted to watch Saito versus Teddy too.
And then it happened, and that was my favorite moment. Obviously, I didn't like, and you know, for me, it's a lose-lose there. You know what I mean?
For you?
Yeah, it's like I wasn't, you know.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Why do you say that?
I love Japan. Don't get me wrong.
But
I loved this outcome for the entirety of the games because Haydarov, right? The Uzbeks, the Kazakhs, and then all these guys who are from these like smaller former Soviet countries had a lot of success. And I think it's good for the sport. I think it's great for the sport. If Japan wins every single medal across the board, it's not exciting for me, and nor is it good for global judo.
Yeah, you know that to put that into context, Taekwondo. One of the reasons it was threatened to be removed was because Koreans dominated so much. In Taekwondo. So now it's more even. A lot of non-Koreans win. Like actually, a lot of Middle Eastern countries are really good at Taekwondo, and that's not good for Korea, but that's good for the sport. But that's what we want ultimately, right? We want to be beneficial to everyone.
Dude, look at like IBJJF, Jiu-Jitsu, or the ADCC. Every single champion was Brazilian for the longest time.
Brazilian.
And now it's U.S. U.S. and Brazil. That's it. How is it going to be a global sport if only 2 countries are winning every single medal? You know what I mean? It's not. Then you'll argue like, oh yeah, Craig Jones is from Australia. That's one guy. You know, we're talking like years and years of just like, all right, what country's going to be competitive, the Olympic dividend, all this stuff, and the NOCs and the money behind it, and then the sponsorships, and then does the country give a shit about it? You know, you look at Tajikistan, it's one of the biggest sports over there, judo. massive. And then you get a Tajikistan champion. You know, what a good thing for the sport, for the country.
Yeah.
You know, look at Georgia.
And like Kosovo, you know.
Kosovo, yeah, for sure. Yeah, small place.
They're a mega powerhouse.
And judo
powerhouse, Kosovo.
So, pretty amazing thing. Even like, look at Netherlands. They have so many judo schools.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm doing a tour over there.
Yeah.
7
check it out, guy.
Back-to-back seminars I'm doing.
Dude, I saw that schedule.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like, dude, you're global now.
I mean, global in some areas, you know what I mean? But that's the good thing about judo, right? It can't just be in your backyard. Oh, judo's so popular in my backyard, and that's it. So I'm always mixed feelings about Japan winning everything. Of course, I love the individual stars. I love the culture. I love the sports side, the respectable side. I like everything about it. You know, I really do, right?
Yeah.
But they have sort of this, like, isolationist, we're the elites of the judo kind of a thing. And the world is really challenging that. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. So, do I just want Japan to win everything? No. You know what I mean? And do I think Saito was ready to beat Riner? I don't think he was.
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
No, like the way Kim In-jung threw Saito, man. Like,
and, you know, Tushishvili.
He's young. He's gonna,
all the tier 2 guys at the 100 plus. Not tier 2, but like not Riner. All the guys competing underneath, right? I'm talking like Tasoev, Tushishvili, Granda, just all these different guys. Like, they're all kind of in the mismatch. Like, you know,
mix.
They're all in the mix. You know, and Teddy's just slightly a little bit better. And then so, you know, I also wanted to see France win this thing also in their home country. You know, it was very mixed.
Yeah,
There was a lot of emotions for me too. Even though I have no allegiance to France, or do I even care about? I like French fries. That's the extent of this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but like, boy, what a story for judo. You know, and in a country like France, like you meet a French guy, you know, out and about, and that guy knows judo. Yeah. Seriously, I've been in like bars and stuff, and I'll talk to French girls, and the French girls like, "Oh, do you do judo?" And then they just know from my ear. I'm like, "Yeah, do you know anything about it?" It's like, "Oh yeah, you know, my brother do and do." And then it's like that's a cool thing, as opposed to an American. It's like, "What do you do, karate or something?" You know?
Yeah, it's like and then the chop.
Yeah, man, take those guys down. You know? Yeah.
I have the similar story too. Like I have a French coworker right now in my internship. Yeah. It's not at all like he's an AI researcher. No. He loves paragliding. That's his thing. Yeah. But when I was like using some Olympic stuff in my presentation, and he saw that, and he's like, "Oh, you should maybe say how many hanegoshis did the guy perform?" I'm like, "What the hell? You know hanegoshi?" Yeah, it's so like bizarre, this random guy. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like in the lingo. Yep. Like French people know hanegoshi. Yep. You know. Yep. Anyway,
so that was one of my favorite moments. Just the roulette hitting 90 plus, and Saito getting a third shot at Riner.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw him recently at the Worlds too, losing to Riner.
Yeah.
And I saw the aftermath at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi, where Saito was sitting there crying. You know, and then I was able to talk to Momose, his coach, the heavyweight coach, and he was like, "Yeah, we had this plan where he wouldn't go collar because he doesn't want the upper body. He want to keep his head away and then grab the belt and then do a lot of ochi from there, and which he didn't really do this time. So like having that access to the coaches at the Worlds, seeing what they're talking about in preparation, Saito losing, seeing the emotional aftermath, and then seeing the decisions being made to kind of plan for the games, and then still losing to him, and then coming back up for the third time, you know, for the representative match for the team. Like, you couldn't have written a better story, man. You know,
that must be so brutal to Saito.
Yeah, but you know, I would. You know what I would love to see this story continue. You know.
Yeah.
And Saito just gets shredded to the bone. Just absolute jacked like a monster. I know. He looks kind of soft. He's a big boy, but he's soft.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see him just absolute beast mode come back 4 years from now.
Maybe LA.
You know, put him on some trend, T, whatever it is. Like, let him get juiced in it. Take him off the roster for 2 years. Let him retire.
It cleaned trend hard.
That's right? Yeah. Get him yoked up out of his mind, and then let him just steamroll
bomb.
And the Saito story is beautiful, man. Like his dad was a legend, and his dad died.
Yeah.
And then I watched one of the documentaries when they interviewed him because he's a Kukushkan guy. Saito is both a Kukushkan guy. My father was the first gen. Older Saito. Saito's like, we all come from the same lineage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So like a lot of our philosophies and training methodologies are very similar. But yeah, his dad Saito was an absolute savage, and the kid said he hated judo for a long time. And then his dad died.
That could happen, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he started to love it. And then little by little, he's like, this is what I'm destined for. And this is what I got to do. And here's this big bad monster that's just been destroying all the Japanese. And I'm going to return to Japan the glory of heavyweight judo, in honor of my father. You know what I mean? And he didn't quite do it.
Hasn't happened in a while,
So if Teddy Riner continues for another 4 years, and then Saito comes back and beats him,
and then, dude, that'll be. I'm choking out just thinking about it.
No, so the stories behind this stuff, and being close to the Kukushkan lineage, seeing Momose, who I chat with every now and then, on Instagram and such, and I don't know, man. I feel like I'm on the sidelines watching this thing unfold, and it's a beautiful story, it really is.
Yeah. This is a side comment before, and then we're gonna go through all the lists, like all the games that we want to talk about. But maybe the IJF should do like a Netflix show, about the F1, like, and then Premier League has a show where they follow a team for the season, and golf has it, like they follow the whole, So and then it increases the popularity more because people get to see stories that you were talking about, all these like backstories about the struggle, and then it's like it's better than movies, So
you got to hear Saito stories, the old Saito. There's like interviews in Japanese on YouTube about like Suzuki talking about the older Saito, and he would say like, like
Suzuki is another legend,
Olympic champion. He would come in and say like, he would come to the dorms at 9 o'clock after curfew. And then we would go put on a gi. And we would look at like right versus left collar hand, like right by the collarbone, half an inch up, half an inch up, half an inch up.
Yeah.
When would you accept this position? If the guy's taller and then had this position, when would you accept it or when would you keep it? If he's taller than you by this tall and then the hand goes down half an inch, like do you feel the same? Do you not feel the same? And then they would go until 2 a.m., right? And there was this thing,
nerding out. Just nerding out.
There was this thing, like if you trained past 2 a.m., you didn't have to do the 6 a.m. training. That was the thing.
Oh.
So there would always be a hard stop at 2 a.m. and like 1:59, Suzuki would be like, Saito, like, can we go over that one thing, like how you throttle the sleeve hand? And he goes, nope, that's a conversation for tomorrow. It's 1:59, good night, and he'll run out of the dojo.
So they can make it to 6 a.m.
So he has to make it to the 6 a.m. And every now and then, it'll work, right? And then he'll be like, all right, let me show you this sleeve-on thing. And then he's going like this. And then all of a sudden, he'll keep him till like 3, 4 in the morning. And then he could miss 6 a.m. practice and sleep in. But he goes 90% of the time, the guy would show up every single day during the weekday and then stay until 2 a.m.
What a story.
And then, obviously, it wouldn't be hard training because he's doing 6 a.m. training. He's doing weightlifting, running, judo from freaking 3 p.m. on to 7 p.m. and then weight training. So it can't be like an intensive workout, but a technical workout concentrated from like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. every day. Forget it. And there's stories like that.
That's what it takes.
And then that's why, Suzuki was who he was. Big Saito was who he was. And then he passed, and now Suzuki has taken the rungs at the Kukushkan University. He's also the All Japan coach, and now Tatsuru Saito's kid, is coming up and through. And then Suzuki's student Momose is teaching Saito now, Saito Jr. My father's from that lineage, which is really cool. And I'm the biggest reject out of all of them.
No, you're contributing so much.
YouTube sensei, that's what I am. You know what I mean? Well, what a friggin' story, right?
Yeah, beautiful. What a story, right? So, all right, we're gonna quickly go through some of the matches I saw. Obviously, I'm gonna miss some, but these are the matches I thought were good, and then we're gonna see if what Shintaro thought about it too. So, Nagayama and Garrigós from Spain, I believe. The controversy, the choke incident.
Very controversial. And if you haven't watched it, Garrigós had a choke in. He was choking Nagayama. And then the referee says mate. And then Garrigós kept choking him. And then Nagayama stops. Rolls over.
Because he heard a mate.
Stops defending and gets choked unconscious.
Yeah.
And the ref's like, Ippon.
Oof.
I know.
Dude, that's like such a...
It's brutal.
I probably told this story in the podcast, but, I was kind of in the similar situation, except I got saved by the bell.
Yes!
The guy let go. You remember?
I remember that.
So Garrigós did the right thing and choked the guy out. My guy stopped. So and then I threw him for Ippon later.
Right. Yeah.
It's like it's very hard.
Let me tell the story. Ready? Peter's fighting this guy at a local tournament, and then he goes for a drop senai. This guy starts cinching in a choke, and then Peter taps really softly on the guy's hand, right? And then he stops.
The ref doesn't see it.
He stops. He stands up and pumps his and he puts his hands in the air. And then the ref's like, "What's going on?" Because he tapped, and Peter just sat there like, "Nope."
I didn't say anything.
Didn't say anything. And the guy's
It's not my job to say anything.
He just like sat there, walked back to the line, got in a stance, and everyone like some of his guys were like, he tapped.
Yeah.
And then you threw him into the TV.
Yeah, he got so mad he threw me into the TV, and then later he got gas, so I threw him and I pinned him. I threw him to Wazari and then pinned him.
Man, he hates you.
More humiliating.
That guy hates you. I hope he's listening right now. If you're listening, man, leave it in the comments.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I gotta play the game. I'm so sorry.
But same thing happened.
Same thing happened, but Garrigós did the right thing, and honestly, I can't blame the guy. I mean, there's no malicious intent here. Like, it's just like a very
playing a
delicate
game,
situation. Yeah.
But it was a little bit controversial. I don't even know what to say or do. People were like, "Oh, ref is this and that."
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, it's like
it's tricky.
They're still friends. I mean, Garrigós and
Yeah, but what a way to lose an Olympics
together.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah,
it's sad. Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, you get like Abe Uta, who hasn't lost in 5 years and gets slammed by Keldiarova.
Yeah, it was let's actually talk about that. Like Abe's devastating. I mean, Uta's devastating loss.
Yeah,
it was like a clean Tani Otoshi though.
Yeah.
Like.
And you know what?
There's
People
no
are like,
question
"Oh, she wasn't paying attention. She just got caught." I disagree with that because she was going 2-on-1. It looked like she was running for a Kataguma, right? So then bang, and then she like stuck her head down, changed levels, and then she wrapped her hand around the waist and switched to the opposite direction. It was a really, really beautiful technical thing that Keldiarova did, And it wasn't as simple as
she's
like
number one in the world too. She's like beginner.
Nope. And I saw her at the World Championships. Keldiarova, I like her. She's out there. She's fierce.
Yeah.
She works hard. Loved it. And, it was really sad on Japanese TV, because they
hyped her up so much.
Yeah, and then they replayed her crying on the mat side, and
she was wailing. Absolutely, it's not even a cry. She was screaming.
Yeah, she was literally having like a mental breakdown almost.
Mental breakdown. I mean, can you imagine the burden on her? Poor thing. I mean, she's
brutal.
strong, but just like that's judo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really is judo, man. Judo's tough.
It's a one little
Such a difficult sport.
I wanted to talk about Tsunoda.
Yeah, dominant.
She is so. Man, I don't know how. She's. You could say she spams Tomoe Nage, but I don't even know how she does it. Like she just sits down.
Yeah.
Like she basically kind of pulls guard and then tips everyone over. Yeah. So BJJ people, if you wanna get better at guard pulling, you actually need to watch Tsunoda.
Yeah.
That lady is. Yeah.
It's a fine line between Tomoe Nage, guard pulling and doing a balloon sweep. You know what I mean? Or an overhead sweep. Very fine line. They're almost the same thing. It's a spectrum.
It's just amazing how she does it. Like, maybe you should do a follow up on her techniques. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta do some more technical.
I never like
other people.
when she pulls it. Like I was like, there's no way she could pull this up, and somehow she does.
Yeah, does
so,
it? Yep.
Yeah. All right. So next is one we talked about Uta, and then I thought Deguchi versus Homimi match was like they were so evenly matched.
Yep.
I think that was one thing. Like a lot of people who don't follow judo regularly watch the final matches and they think judo is boring because they're so evenly matched. So if you want to see spectacular ippons, you actually want to watch like the
first 2 rounds
earlier matches.
For sure.
Yeah. Then they'll bomb each other then.
Yeah.
But anyway, Deguchi Homimi, it's kind of Deguchi has a good story too. Like
Great
you know,
story.
she was coming up in Japan, but she decided to move to Canada. I believe her father or
her father's from Canada.
Canadian?
Her father's from Canada.
Okay.
And then they moved to Japan, so they live in Japan as a family. And then she trains there.
I see.
But Klimkate, who was also top of the world. So Deguchi and Klimkate are number 1 and 2 in the world, respectively. Not just in the weight class, but in all of world judo. Because they were competing so much for the slots that they have more points than anybody else on the roster. Deguchi had over 10,000 points on the world ranking list.
Oof.
Yeah. So you have Deguchi, who's not really Canadian because she doesn't live in Canada, train in Canada. She lives in Japan and trains in Japan. Versus Klimkate, who
I thought she did live in Canada. No. She lives in Japan. She still trains in Japan. Oh, okay.
And Klimkate, you have a true Canadian, you know?
Yeah.
And then the World Championship results were going to determine who goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then they met in the final, right?
No, I think they met in the semis or something like that. Or maybe they didn't even meet in the semis. One of them didn't make it through, but Deguchi made it to the finals and won. I'm friends with her father now.
Oh, yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's a photographer for Judo Canada also.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting family.
So that's how
I
was able to interact with
Deguchi
him.
made it.
In the back end of the IJF. Like, I'm commentating, I'm walking around in the back, and then Deguchi's dad is out there with the camera, shooting action shots for Judo Canada. Very friendly guy, too. Yeah. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, Deguchi went out there. Just to even get there was like, what a journey. Right? It's like climbing Mount Everest, going down Mount Everest, going down to the Grand Canyon, coming back up and swimming across the ocean.
Yeah.
Especially like competing against Klimkate on points.
Yeah.
And even Klimkate made a post about like I didn't make it, but
the sport.
Yeah, and that post on Instagram got so many likes and comments, and it was like one of the most heartbreaking things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Deguchi. But boy, that was just kind of heartbreaking to, and it's on you experience stuff like this, everybody, and it's relatable.
Yeah.
Because if you've done some sort of judo competition, you've experienced loss. You lost the guys who should have lost to.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have lost to. Or you go to a tournament, you lose in the semis, whatever it is. You know, it means the world to you. And yes, it's not the Olympic Games, but you try to make it, right? And then you fight at your level, and then not quite making it or coming up short, or the feeling of winning. And then coming out on top, like there's just so much emotion to it. Your ego's tied to it. Your identity's tied to it. It's so relatable. Obviously, this is on a much bigger scale, but seeing these guys go through it real time from the sidelines, you're just like, wow, man! Like, you get inspired,
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
Yeah, Christa has been on the scene for a while. Like she came out as a teenager, doing so well in international tournaments and. Homimi also has a very cool story. She's actually what they call a Zainichi Kankokujin, like the Korean Japanese.
That's right.
She actually grew up in Japan, but her grandmother asked her to represent Korea, so she decided that.
Kim Jisu's also like that too, right? Because she speaks Japanese.
A lot of Anchang Rim is also Zainichi Korean. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like they get the best like judo training in Japan, and then they come over and So, but there's some like culture exchange there. But I thought the match was like they were so evenly matched, and man, like so people hated the Shido decision at the end because it didn't end in like a throw.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about it, but did you watch the match? The Homimi at the end.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
I did.
Yeah. So it's like a fine line. Like that. We'll talk about this Shido issue later. I think that was a lot of people talking about.
We'll do part two. Because I gotta.
Yeah. Oh, you gotta go to the thing. Yeah.
Go to the thing.
All right. So, Yeah, I think so. We'll end there. He has to. Shintaro has to run, but yeah, there was so much to talk about. So we'll do part 2. This will be part 1, and yeah.
Thank you to our sponsors.
Thanks for listening, guys.
JudotTV.com. Who are the Jason, Joel, and Levon. Thank you very much. You guys can support us too on Patreon, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah,
and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.